You are listening to an interview with clinical hypnotherapist Dr. Steve G. Jones. For a free hypnosis download, please visit stevegjones.com.
Steve G. Jones, welcome back to Money for Lunch.
Hey, Bert, thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, man. It's always good to have you here. And, you know, I want to talk about this idea that we have. Some people call it rejection. Some people call it failure. And let's start with rejection, because I think that's such a personal thing. You know, especially for us in the, you know, when you're single and dating, especially for guys, you know, you have to, you walk up to a pretty girl and you ask her out, and she may say yes, she may say no. There's a lot of anxiety to that. But what's your take? When you know, how can you overcome these feelings of rejection when they manifest?
Well, if it's in a dating scenario, I think the best way to do that is beforehand by, of course, building up confidence. We all have something or some things to be confident about, to feel good about ourselves concerning. So really, I believe it's just a matter of building up that, our belief in our own self-worth.
I like that, and I like what you said. I want to emphasize this. Do it beforehand. So, you know, make sure that you're feeling powerful and confident before you go in to ask her out. And also, there are times when you get a rejection, you get a no. It could be for various reasons. You know, the reality is they may not like you. They may not be interested. That's just a fact of life. You don't like everybody. You may not be interested in everybody. That's just a fact of life, and that's okay. Second of all, they may be saying not now versus no. And I think that the difference between the guys who are confident, as you were saying, Steve, and the guys who, you know, are full of dread and despondent is that they what do you call it, are aware that no is not a personal thing. Very seldom is somebody going to just flat out reject you on some kind of really deep personal level. It's, you know, they may be saying no for various reasons, of which are completely out of your control.
Absolutely. I mean, this idea of no, if we look at it from a sales point of view, you know, a salesperson should like to get a lot of no's and O's. And then that means they're getting closer to a yes. If you get rejected, finally get a yes, you know, that's part of what they have to do. Look at I've heard Sylvester Stallone trying to get someone to buy and produce the script to a movie he had called Rocky. I heard he got rejected a number of times. I think it was somewhere around 1,000 times or something crazy like that. You know, any average person would have given up, but he was a fighter in every sense of the word, and he kept pushing. And look how successful that franchise has been.
Absolutely, no, that's a great example. You know, I think that the same thing with R.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She was rejected a lot as well. And the bottom line is, look, the more rejection you go through, the more obstacles you go through, it really brings up the value of what you're doing. I mean, if it was simple, there'd be no value. And, you know, Sylvester Stallone wouldn't have made millions of dollars for that franchise he created. He would have made a few $1,000 because the value would have been gone. You know, it just, you know, you cannot, as humans nowadays, when you hear that Rocky theme, you can't help but get pumped up. Talk about an anchor. Talk about building your confidence. That's a perfect. You want to maybe listen to the Rocky theme and then go in for the sales or for the, you know, or asking the girl out for a date, right? I mean, that's a perfect way to build up your confidence and get it motivated and you know, and take some punches, so to speak, right? Some mental punches, if you will.
Absolutely. I mean, the movies are all about that, about persistence and how it pays off. And you don't always win, but you always persist. And of course, the story of him getting the deal in the first place is a tremendous story of persistence. So no matter how you look at it, yeah, that theme song is going to bring up a lot of powerful feelings that would really, I believe, as you said, act as an anchor and a trigger for people to get them to do what they want to do.
Yeah, you know what? It is amazing. What do you call it? How much that movie has become part of the American. What's the word I'm looking for? Just American backdrop? No, it's an American icon. Yeah. Anyway, but lexicon, right? I mean, that song and Rocky and hey yo Adrian, you know, all that. And speaking of rejection, you look at Rocky. He was not only, you know, the movie is about this guy who constantly gets rejected. I mean, he got rejected by Adrian multiple times. He finally said yes. He got rejected by his trainer Mickey until finally he persisted and got through. So that's just life. Life is rejection, and the difference between those who make millions of dollars, those who are successful, those who get to do what they love to do, and the ones that don't are the ones who are willing to go through massive amounts of rejection.
Absolutely. I mean, and I have friends who, you know, they're not particularly well educated. They're not particularly even well talented. And a lot of the people that I do business with, that I make money with, but they're so persistent that they get things done. And people who have tremendous talent, you know, they say the best guitar players are guys who sit in their bedroom and just play guitar to themselves, and they never feel confident enough to share it with the world, so they never get anywhere. Whereas someone who feels confident is going to take a little bit of guitar lesson, and they're going to go out and see how they do, and they're going to refine, and keep pushing till they get somewhere. So it really does come down. The number one thing that differentiates the successful from the unsuccessful is confidence, because confidence leads to you just going out there and pushing as hard as you can.
You are listening to an interview with clinical hypnotherapist Dr. Steve G. Jones. For a free hypnosis download, please visit stevegjones.com.
Yes, absolutely. You know, what do you call it? This thing about pushing or being persistent, that really is one of those laws of success. You have to do it. And people talk about so-and-so being lucky, and I think that luck is, you know, we've heard the adage that luck is a combination of being prepared and being at the right place, kind of a thing. I forgot the exact adage there, but if you are consistently persisting, you're pushing forward, you are going to, quote, have a few lucky breaks.
Yeah.
You know, and however, back to your analogy, if you're hiding your talent in the bedroom and nobody hears it, then you're not going to get that lucky break. Nobody was ever discovered in the bedroom. Hey, you know, you got such a great talent. I was driving by and heard you playing. You know, let's bring you in for a rehearsal, or for an audition. No, it's one of those things that you have to be out there. You got to take the no's. You got to take the ups and downs, and you got to, you know, push and persist until something happens.
Absolutely. You know, I work with people all the time. They say, "Hey, Dr. Steve, how do you get so wealthy selling hypnosis recordings?" And, you know, and I'll tell them everything I know. As long as they'll listen, I'll keep talking and I'll tell them. And then, you know, I check with them a few months later. How's that website coming along? Well, it's not quite right yet. I'm not quite ready to launch it yet. I've got a few more things. And of course, these are excuses because they don't feel confident enough to get it out there. So really, that is the defining thing that makes the difference between people who become wealthy and successful and happy and those who just keep going in circles, is just that confidence to say, hey, world, here's what I've got. What do you think? And then you can refine it if you have to, and you just keep moving forward no matter what.
Yes, yes. And let's talk about that a little bit. What do you call it? The people who, 6 months later, 12 months later, 24 months later, still haven't launched that website. It is, what do you call it? This fear that holds us back, and you and I both have heard different languaging for fear. I don't have the time. It's not ready yet. The procrastination when you just used. I'm waiting for the right time. It's whatever. All these little filters for fear. Bottom line is, look, man, we're all afraid. It's nobody. Anytime you put yourself out there, you are putting yourself out in the stream of what I like to say opposition, right? So you're the minute you put yourself out there, you write a book, you put up a website, you record a recording, you write an article. The minute you do that, you are now in the stream of opposition, and somebody may not like what you do. You may get rejected, and they may either be terrible things that they say. So what?
Exactly.
Look, there's not everybody likes President Obama, but he still got elected twice. Not everybody likes Donald Trump, but he's still leading the polls. It's not. Interestingly enough, it is a popularity contest, but not a popularity contest that it's not about everybody liking you. It's just about the right people liking you, right?
Yeah, you'll always have your people rallying behind you, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. And that's one of the things that I come across a lot. People say, well, how do you do things? How do you make this work? And I say, it's all about your personality, who you are, what you are. You put that out there, your people will find you, your people will rally behind you, your people will support you, and other people will not. And that's okay, because some of the best talk show hosts are, for example, they polarize audiences. They say things that, some people may be offended and some people are going to love it. And you do the same thing. You speak your mind, and the people who love you, and the people who are against you, well, that's great too, because they're talking about you, and that's wonderful. So we should all really strive for just picking a path and walking it and realizing that it's going to work out. We're going to have great publicity from people who love us, and the people who are opposed to us are just going to make those people who love us even more.
Yes, I love it. All right, listen, we're out of time. We're going to end on that note. I really do appreciate you stopping by and helping us out, Steve, and the stuff that you bring to the table is awesome. I always say this, that Steve has the world's largest audio library at SteveGJones.com. Dr. Steve has literally poured his heart and soul into these recordings, and they're anything from confidence to getting over dealing with procrastination, helping you with weight loss, helping you with we talked about dating today, helping with that. So literally anything that you could ever think of. You can go to SteveGJones.com and you can find help there. Steve G. Jones, thank you so much for stopping by and helping today.
Bert, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right.
You are listening to an interview with clinical hypnotherapist Dr. Steve G. Jones. For a free hypnosis download, please visit SteveGJones.com.